numbers 07018001783, 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call to be part of this segment. While that is ongoing until all the way till 11:15 a.m., we have someone in the studio today, and it's our idea series here on the spotlight, and we have a guest here in the studio, which you would get to meet very, very, very soon. So my guest is currently the co-founder and CEO of Quizak Education, an edtech platform that helps students, organizations, and schools improve learning by ensuring 100% engagement using gaming techniques such as tournaments, badges, rewards, points, and tasks. It is currently used by more than 13,000 students and individuals across Africa in partnership with top organizations such as Microsoft and Union Bank. He holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from Ladike Akintola University of Technology. He has built extensive experience in deploying his over 10 years of experience in technology to solving the crisis around education in Africa. His true determination and innovation have seen him recently win the African Excellence Award by MEA, and also seen Quizak named the winner of the Union X Innovation Challenge organized by Union Bank and Greenhouse Capital. Before Quizak, he has previously worked on Trans Academy, another edtech startup that eventually failed. Aside from his love to see education work for the low Africans, my guest is also passionate about the future of space exploration in Africa and the world as a whole. On Spotlight today and on our Ideas series today, I have Tade Samson. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Comfort. It's so revealing to be here today.
Okay, you're welcome to the show once again. So let's start from the story behind Quizak. I say story because a lot of times from my own interaction with people, I find out that people who start this kind of platform is probably as a result of something that happened to them while they were growing up or an experience that they had. So, Tade, what is your own story?
Oh, so just like what you just said now, same thing is applicable to me. The story around Quizak is a familiar one to not just myself, but to millions of African. And to most of you that are listening to me right now, you would understand that while we're all growing up as a student, it's really, really hard getting to learn. Like, we don't like learning, literally. The fact that we're in Nigeria makes it worse. So most of the time we're being compelled by our parents, you're being flogged to go read our books, and you just want to pick it and just pretend as if you're reading, and then you've already dozed off. So that's the way it is. So the same pattern applies to me when I was growing up, and one thing that contradicts that is the fact that if I pick a book for 10 minutes, I have already slept off after these 10 minutes. But then give me something like games, I could play for 3 straight hours without getting demotivated or disengaged at all. So when I was growing up, I began to tell myself, like, can somebody just this was when I was in primary school, secondary school, can somebody just make education similar to the experience you get with gaming, such that students would not be really forced to go pick their book and learn. They do it willingly. But then I got no answer. But then we foster on with the part of learning in Africa. Then when I got to university, an experience really changed my life. And the fact that I studied computer science really helped so well. So there was this very difficult course on the campus, and people speak about it before you even get to 200 level and the like. So I was preparing for it, and most students that I know, the most way they really prepare for this is by cramming. Then they go to pour down this content, and they forget about it. So similarly, I was going to do the same. So I started reading this book, months before the exams, and then a day before the exam, I think I went to night class, and I was reading. The exam was meant to commence by 7 a.m. in the morning, but at exactly 6 a.m. in the morning, 6:30, I was still reading. So I got to the exam hall, and the question sheet was distributed. I looked at it, and I know that I knew everything that is there. I have read everything that is there, but the problem is that I couldn't remember any of them. So it was so painful. I waited for about 1 hour, 30 minutes. I still wasn't going to really get anything. So I begged my head literally to come back to me. I held my head in my hands and I was begging it. Just remember, I don't want to fail this course. So about after 1 hour, 45 minutes, I knew myself that I wasn't going to really,
Pass the course.
yeah, no, I wasn't going to remember anything, even though I've read, I've crammed it. So I just put down some things and I went out of the exam. I was telling myself that I'm just going to be lucky I wouldn't fail this course. Then after I got out of the exam hall, then I told myself, no, this is a turning point for myself. At that point, I've started programming. So I told myself, I said, no, if nobody's going to build this idea that I've gotten since I was in secondary school, then maybe I was just going to do it myself. So I've got millions of Africans that are facing the same problem. Then I started researching, okay, this is not the best way for any student to read and enjoy it. Then I started researching, okay, what are the best way that somebody could read without having to go through the stress of cramming and then be able to retain those information for a very long period of time. And I started researching about a concept called space repetition. And this space repetition concept gives you exactly that luxury. Then I started looking at apps that uses this concept, and they were working, but they weren't really working because they weren't made for African. So at a point in time, I started some manual process that really was using space repetition to really work for my studies. And then it started working for me, changed a lot about how I studies and the result and the likes. Then after some few months, I told myself, if this could work for me, then it could work for millions of Africans that are facing the same problem. Then at that point, I've built some, I have some team them. I've been working on some ideas, and I know how to really ideate around, solutions and the likes. So we brainstormed together. We look at the proliferation of mobile devices. Then we said to ourselves that mobile phones are becoming very, very popular among students. Then a lot of students are getting really addicted to mobile phones, especially gaming. What if this concept I have, we could really combine it, the idea of this space repetition, we could combine it into a game, then we could put it on mobile phones and then be able to present it to students. The time they waste while playing games or on social media, they could really spend it on these particular types of app, and they could get the same experience that they get while playing these games. So that was when we started working on it. Initially, we released a version of it after my graduation. I met other teams in Abuja. Then we migrated to Lagos to build specifically this product. And then our first launch was in February of 2019, and the launch was made for the JAMB category of students, JAMB. So we released for JAMB, and after the JAMB, we got a lot of positive feedback. Testimonials were rolling in, and the people were saying, this is awesome, this is a new experience of learning. And then when we saw that that result from JAMB, then we decided to say, okay, maybe we have to scale this to other category of schools like GSS, senior secondary schools, and then we started building for that as well. And then something amazing happened during the pandemic period.
Hold on to that. So before you tell us what happened during the pandemic, let's go for this quick break. When we come back, we'll find out what happened during the pandemic that led to the Quizak education. Stick around, I'll be back. So actually tell them to reduce this AC. Is that affecting you? AC?
No.
I'll be fine.
I'm good. Okay.
Directly on my head.
Okay, this, right?
Yes. That's why I stood up. So are you ready to do that?
Yeah.
welcome back. It's still Spotlight here on Yabatek Radio 89.3 FM, and we just started talking to Tade Samson and his company, his organization, what they do, and all of that. So he was telling us about the story of Quizak and how the company came about. So he wanted to tell us something that happened during the COVID period. So let's hear it.
Okay, so as I was saying, during the COVID pandemic, something amazing happened. When we started Quizak, myself and my other co-founders, like I used to tell people, like we have a combined experience, about 40 years learning the hard way. So our solution was literally supposed to be for the education space, like for students. We wanted to provide a solution that gives parents peace of mind. They wouldn't have to shout at their kids to say, go pick your book, go read. So we wanted to give students that liberty of saying, oh, I can pick my book anytime, I'm not stressed by that. So, but something, like I said, amazing happened, and we started getting calls from corporate organizations asking us that how possible could it be for them to use Quizak to really manage the employee engagement and the likes, because of the concept of gamification we employed to solving this problem for students. Then we started seeing things different in another light, like okay, no, this solution we have is not just the solution we built a tool, and it's not just going to be for students alone. Corporate organization could really benefit from this. Then we started talking to some of the corporate organizations that reach out to us. One of them was maybe I don't have to mention this on here, really. So we started, working with them, and they started telling us their pain points. Then we started, really working around it and building the first prototype for organizations. And today we've been able to partner with more than, I think, 6 organizations currently, and we're still looking to partner with more. And for organization, what they use Quizak for, basically, it's in 2 phases. One is in terms of employee engagement. So imagine that in different organizations today, they do corporate learning, and they give them this huge volumes of videos to go practice. And most time, it's not fun at all. People
don't watch it.
They don't do it at all. Imagine a new recruit who just got employed into a company. They give them a value handbook to go read, a process handbook to go read. Most of the time, these people don't really do it. And if they do it, they just do it because they want to keep their jobs. Yeah. So imagine that this kind of books and videos are being broken down into micro content, and they are put into a quiz game format in Quizak. And then they can play it with not just themselves alone. They can play it with even their boss in the office. They can interact with their colleagues at the office, not when they want to learn, but when they are watching their favorite program, like they are watching football, or they are even sleeping in their bed, or when they are in the toilets. They can do this with Quizak. So that's what makes it very fun. And this is what corporate organizations are really benefiting from, using Quizak as employee engagement. And Quizak could as well be used by corporate organization for customer engagement as well. So you could create some fun games around the organization, and you could spread this across your social media and let your employee really interact with it. The fact that it's a game format, they see leaderboard of how they are doing when they are answering these questions, and they get to learn about your corporate organization. It's a way for organizations to promote their brand awareness with Quizak as well.
No, so how long has Quizak been, and when did you get the conviction that, okay, this is what I should do, I'm going to go for this? Because a lot of ideas do not see the light of the day. We just think about them. Oh, I think I can do it. But why did you chase this idea?
Thanks. So Quizak isn't my first idea, to be honest. But I would say Quizak was my first idea when I became mature as a techpreneur, to be honest. So when I was in school, I built some startups, but immediately I got out of school and during my NYC, my first idea that we started working on was Quizak. And the moment I got to believe that no, Quizak is a worthy idea, is basically because I am a victim of the problem. So anytime I think about the fact that parents who have to shout at their students at their kids and say, go pick your book. Sometimes they will even flog them. You know, it's a big problem. Anytime we tell a parent now, look at what we've got with Quizark, you don't have to even monitor your kids that they should go carry their book, because they do it willingly, because this is fun. You know, at that point, I know that, no, this is a solution. This is a problem that is worth pursuing. And we have Quizark as the idea. So we're just going to press onto it. That's basically the moment, yes.
Okay, so when you consider the Quizark idea, was it supposed to be like an NGO, or it was supposed to, solve this particular problem and, still be a profit-making organization?
So Quizark was never intended to be an NGO in any way. So it's a for-profit organization. So Quizark is a normal startups that would raise money from investors and be able to multiply this money and bring returns at the end of the day. So yeah, Quizark,
so like every other profit-making organization.
100%, yes.
Okay, so before now you have worked with an edtech startup that failed. Why do you think it failed, and how are you making sure that this same mistake is not repeated with Quizark?
Okay, thank you for that awesome questions. I've worked with one when I was in university. It's called MIPAS. It's called Mobile Electronic Public Addressing System. And then there's another one called Transcademy. So the reason why Transcademy basically failed, we killed it, to be honest, not like it failed. So we were getting leads. So what Transcademy was meant to do was meant to connect parents, students, and school together to be able to develop positive habits in every child. So we wanted to, what's happening in school, we wanted to connect it with the home, so that the home and the school are in sync with what every child is really passing through. So we started talking with the market, and we saw that our stakeholder management was getting too much. We had to discuss with parents. Parents had to buy into the idea. Students have to buy into the idea, and schools have to buy into the idea. Not just schools, even teachers in the schools have to buy into the idea. So the stakeholder in that problem was really so much, and we weren't raising any cash. We were really burning our cash. We told ourselves, no, this isn't going to scale for us. And because we had no lead to get any form of capital at that point, we just said, okay, we have Quizark. I have Quizark, which is another idea. And the stakeholder for Quizark at that point is just students, even if we were wrong with that idea. So we said, okay, with students being the only stakeholder for students, we wouldn't have to spend much. So let's just follow the ideas of Quizark. And that was how we killed Transcademy at that point. Yes.
Okay. All right, listeners at home, you can be part of the show if you have questions, or if you've used the Quizark app, you want to talk about it, feel free to call, or you know him, you know Tade Samson, you've worked with him, feel free to call in, and let's hear from you. 070-1800-1783, 0913138411. I'll take your numbers again, 070-1800-1783, 0913138411. Those are the numbers to call to be part of the show. Now, I see you use a lot of gaming techniques when it comes to the work you do at Quizark. So run us through the process. So as a student, how do I get on board? What do I need to do? How is the process like? Just run us through it.
Okay, so the process with Quizark is, I know every student, I'll say for example, you do different subjects in your class. So there is maybe biology. Let me use the senior secondary category as an example. Biology, and in biology, see there is ecology as a topic. So imagine that ecology as a topic. On Quizark, we've broken it down into pieces, and these pieces we call it question sets. So every question set on ecology, we have it on Quizark. So, and you can create your own. You're not limited to what we have.
I can create my own.
You can create your own question. Organizations create their questions on Quizark. Students and schools can create their questions on Quizark. So this ecology, you've broken it down, or we are broken it down, we have it on Quizark. So what you do is that you register on Quizark and you give us your class. When you tell us your class, the reason you are doing that is basically the fact that we want to be able to give you content that are related to your class. So we don't want you to come on Quizark and tell us that you are in GSS1 and then the content that we will be monitoring against your mastery rate is content that are related to maybe GSS1 or SS3. It doesn't add up. So the reason you are telling us your class is so that we give you tailored content that are related to your class. And when you do that, and after the registration, you will see different question sets. You can search by your class, and then you can play this question set with your friends. You could create a multiplayer game that you can invite and send the link to varieties of your colleagues, and then they could join the game, and then you will know when the time will start, and you guys can all play together. There is a leaderboard when you are doing it. For each games, as you're playing each of these games, it's bringing questions in ecologies, and it's just not bringing any random questions. No, and that's where we really revel in the ideas of using artificial intelligence to be able to better the concept you have on Quizark. So what it's really doing is that we build a concept of content customization into Quizark. And what that does is that when you play the game on Quizark, it learns from your mastery. It knows your weaknesses and your strengths. And then based on these, your weaknesses and your strengths, is able to create content that are tailored to your weaknesses. And these are content it brings back to you. So, and with this concept, we're able to build for you mastery around different topics. Like we can tell you that the ecology you've been studying on Quizark for the past 3 days, you now have 70% mastery in this ecology based on the content you set for yourself on Quizark.
What if it was a trial and error something? I'm just choosing any answer and I'm getting it.
So if you keep choosing any answer and you keep getting it, so what will happen is that the mastery is not built just once when you interact with the question. So when you interact with the question, for example, and you get it, over time the question we don't assume you've gotten it. So we're using a concept, like I said, we built some proprietary algorithm that helps in really analyzing your interaction with those questions. And what that is happening is that the algorithm doesn't consider you a master of the questions that you've learned the first time you interact with it. So
it has to be over time,
consistently. So imagine you don't even learn, you don't even know a question at all, and you just choose rubbish. The next time the question will come back again, even if it comes back again and it asks you. So at that point, because you've interacted with it at once, then you will be able to, oh, I knew this question, I chose the right answer. So by virtue of the game you're playing, you are really learning awesomely when you're interacting with those questions. And yeah, that's a big problem for us at Quizark, to be honest, the fact that people could randomly choose the answer.
Yes.
But one thing that we've done to really combat that is that questions on Quizark have hints. So each round of each of those games, they have hints. So when we say the questions, you see a question, it displays to you on Quizark. You can flip the card and you can see the hint. So instead of you just randomly choosing rubbish, you could really look at the hints. At that point, you read the hints. Because the essence of playing games on Quizark is for you to learn. So you then read the hints, then you get a hint of what the answer could be, then you choose the answer. At that point, you get the answer correctly, and you learn something in that line too.
Okay, so it means that if you're going to do this, you're working closely with like the school's curriculum, especially for senior secondary schools and for schools. Basically, you have to work with their curriculum to be able to tell, oh, okay, this is what an SS1 student is supposed to be learning at this time. This is what an SS2 student is supposed to be learning by this time.
Yeah, that's very correct. So, like I said initially, we are meant to build content that are tailored to different category of education. So the way we make that possible is in 2 ways. First, we have our own inbuilt content on Quizark, and the way to ensure that they are really content that the class you build it for, it's the content for the class you build it for, is that we work with different schools, we take the curriculum of each classes, and then we try to create content that meets those curriculum. And again, in another perspective, the fact that any school could create their content according to their curriculum makes it very flexible. So we don't have to, we are not restricted to starting to create. Imagine we're not just, Quizark is not just available in Nigeria, even in Africa. We have had Quizark played in over 40 countries since our inception, outside Africa. So imagine we going to Indonesia tomorrow and we're saying, we want to start creating their content. No. So we make it flexible that any student from Indonesia could create their content. But the way we validate that is that we have contributors on our platforms. Our contributors are people that ensure that the quality of our content really meets the standards that it should be for the class they've been created for.
Yeah.
So when you create a content and you said it's meant for this class, automatically before we release it to our public pool of users, we send it to these contributors. And this contributor, for example, you're in Nigeria, you're a contributor on a platform and you teach maybe GSS1, and a GSS1 student creates a content and he said, okay, I want to publish it to the world on Quizark. So we send it to every contributor that are managing GSS1. They look at it and they said, okay, this meets the quality of content that the GSS1 student will meet.
Okay, so it means that even as a student, if I go on the platform and I try to create questions, not every questions are just approved and logged into the system.
Not
so
at
you have
all.
to go through your
Verification process.
exactly to get the questions on board.
Exactly.
Interesting. Listeners at home, you can be part of the show if you have questions for my guest. So you just want to shout out to him. 07018001783 09018001783 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call to part of the show. So feel free to call in with your questions, comments, and shout outs, and we'll be here to take your call. Now, one of the major problems that is peculiar with startup founders, especially from this part of the world, is the issue of funding and raising capital. How has that journey been for Quizark?
Yeah, it's a familiar story. So
Familiar indeed.
So not just for me, obviously. But one thing that I have learned over the course of building about 3 startups since I left, or when I was in school until now, is that one of the problems we as a founder make is that we try to raise too early. So ideas that are not proven, and we just try to go.
Coming from a founder, from you. Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
So we try to raise money, because we hear the buzz of people are raising money, and I still make the same mistake while building Quizark. At a point, I just had to stop and tell my team and just wait and say, no, we have to bring out proven tractions to people, and whenever they're ready and whenever they see this, they can be so assured that we're building a solution that people really want to use. So yeah, a lot of these investors are human beings, and the money they really want to commit on your business is not their money. So they want the assurance that when they put this trust on you, you would be able to repay them back and not just squander their cash. So yeah, that's majorly the problem, and I think we as entrepreneurs, we have to do better in our approach to really raising funds.
Okay, so recently Quizark, gained some recognitions and won some awards. So what did that do to the business, and what did that do to you as a co-founder?
So yeah, that's really stamped our ideas of using innovation to really better education, and any organization we kind of want to really approach now, or any schools we want to really approach, the fact that we won a West Africa based award, on its own is
Six for you already.
Yeah, so it's helped us in that perspective. And even when we talk to investors now, those are part of attraction. We can tell them that these are the kind of publicity we've gotten, and these people will do their research before they can give out such a award.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has really helped us in that perspective so much.
Now let's talk about schools. What are some of the challenges you face when you go to pitch this Quizark idea to schools? Because I know schools, school owners, they should be part of the stakeholders, if I'm not mistaken. So what are some of the challenges you have when you go to pitch this idea to them? What do they say? What is their reaction? What's their reception of the idea like?
So funny enough, when we go to schools, we're not initially welcome with a warming arm. They just feel this is some kind of another solution that a lot of people has been bringing to us, that we don't have your time. But of course, our persistency really get us to want them to try it out. Let's just have a demo of Quizak and let's see what this thing is all about. We'll tell you, it's not like any other ideas you guys have been seeing.
Yeah.
And reluctantly, they just want to say, okay, yeah, let's just give you that time. And the moment you try it out with them, they are really so flabbergasted most of the time. They're really so surprised and so happy. We say, wow, this is so nice. So the kind of interaction, the animation we have with Quizak and the other game techniques that works with Quizak, it really resonates with them, and they were like, oh, this is nice. And most of the cases, we get partner with some of these schools. And yeah, that's the story.
So what does it take for a school to actually come on board?
So what it takes for a school to come on board is because we had to go to some of these schools. The good thing about it is Quizak is not the only schools have been using something similar to Quizak, but maybe something like Quizlet, something like Kahoot. Schools are used to it, but we have our own Sherry on Quizak that is not available on these other competitors. And then when we go to some of these schools and we said, have you used this solution before? With the fact that, for example, we have tournament on Quizak, we have a league kind of game on Quizak, and we tell school like, okay, with our league feature, we use it for continuous engagement.
Yeah.
So when a teacher wants to teach a subject to a particular class, every topic every week could be like a league. So imagine a student who is not concentrating this week and has some issues. They didn't do well this week. It's an opportunity for them to really, spike up later next week and then bump up the leaderboard in the league. And they see it as, oh, this is really good for continuous engagement. It's not available in some of these guys, so it's an advantage for us. And then they buy into it, and we train their staffs, and we say, oh, they're teachers, and this is how to use some of these new concepts you're not familiar with. And then after that, they start using Quizak.
Interesting. This is at home. We are still talking to Tade Samson, the co-founder and CEO of Quizak Education. We have been talking to him about the Quizak app and how it's helping students and how it's helping people basically to read, have fun while they are learning. Now, I was going to ask you, what about universities? What about university students? Do you have courses? Do you have any of that on the app?
Also, for university, we don't have. So, but, like I said earlier, anyone could create their content on Quizak and use it. But in terms of a market concentration right now, we're really concentrating on building content for the senior category of schools in Nigeria. So that's where we build our content. But for organization, we don't build content. We partner with organizations that build content and put it on the platform and maybe even sell it. And I wouldn't forget to say the fact that an individual could even sell their content on Quizak. So if you build it, you could put a price tag on it, and when people are interested in buying it, they could put a penny, say 500 naira, 200 naira, and then you get your cash out of this. So organizations do this as well too. So for universities, you could create your content as a student, and then you could review it to your friends and the like. But we don't have content create for different university on Quizak currently.
Okay. Let's go for this quick break. Let's pay some bills. When we come back, we'll talk to Tade about the reward system on Quizak. That when I went through the website yesterday, I saw some things that when you play to a certain stage, certain level, you get to win prizes. There were a lot of prizes on the site. So when we come back, we'll talk to him about the prizes and the reward system on Quizak. Stick around. I'll be back.
Star 966 # Easy Banking, you can open a Zenith Bank account, purchase airtime and data, make transfers to any bank in Nigeria, pay bills and make POS payments, create a wallet account, and perform other self-service options like PIN and password reset and temporary blockage of your account. Star 966 # is fast, easy, and convenient. And more importantly, it can be used on any phone type as it requires no data. Dial Star 966 # to get started now. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Okay, back. You ready?
Okay,
Is that off?
No,
It's still on.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not.
welcome back. This is still Spotlight here on Yabachek Radio 89.3 FM, and we are still talking to Tade Samson, and it's an idea series here. He co-founded an app called Quizak Quizak Education. It's basically for learning. So those of us that find learning, or those of you that find learning as boring, you know, the moment you carry your book, you're sleeping, this app would really do well, would help you to read and learn. So before we talk about the reward system, Tade, I wanted to ask you about learning. How has the testimonials been? Are people really learning on the app, or is just all fun and games and we're done for the day? Are people really learning? Are students really learning? Have you gotten reports from schools to say, oh, okay, because of the app, students' productivity or their learning ability is increased from 50% to 60%? Did you get any of that?
So, one thing I want to clarify is that Quizak is not an alternate platform to replace reading, or studying, or e-learning, or So, but one thing we are doing is we're trying to compensate and build an habit that will foster your reading habit. That's what Quizak is majorly meant to do. So the way we do that is, like I said, you've read ecology. Imagine that you have like 4 topics to read for a particular test, and you just go randomly through these topics. You don't know what to tell you. Like, you are well done with this. You have to go back and read that. So when you read each of these topics, you go to Quizak practice, play games with your friends. So based on the outcome of these games,
so you should have read.
You would have read.
Come on the platform,
of course,
to test your
review your knowledge of what you've read. So you play these games with your friends, and of course on Quizak, because we have into, or even if you haven't read, you will still be able to follow along. So, but when you review your knowledge, and Quizak is able to weigh, oh, this guy is really good in this topic. Oh, then we tell you, out of these 4 topics you have learned, you don't even have to bother about 3, because you have almost like 100% mastery in them. But you're still weak in one. So go back to this one, because you have 40% knowledge in it, and revise it again. So Quizak tells you that nothing will tell you that normally when you keep reading this book. Imagine you start reading the one that you have mastered before, and when you get to this exam, or you don't have a balance in knowledge of most of these topics. Exactly. So basically that's.
All right, let's talk about the reward system. I saw a lot of games, a lot of items to be won on the website. So how do people win these items? What do they have to do? What stage or what level do they have to get to win these items?
Okay, thanks for that. So when you start putting your question set on Quizak, for every questions you get right, you get points. So, and I speak about game mechanisms that we use. These are part of the game mechanism. Even the reward we give out is part of the game mechanisms we use. So when you get a question right, you get a point. So I think about, say, 300 points gives you a gem. A gem is majorly like, oh, something awesome on the platform, like you won a gem or something. So these gems is what you can accumulate to claim rewards on Quizak.
How many gems do I need to have so I can go and play game on
So it depends. There's some rewards that need just 5 gems, and there are some that need as many as 20. So but the good thing is, one other fun thing is, we have a roulette wheel on Quizak. So that roulette wheel, if you have a single reward, a single gem, you can go to the roulette wheel and try your luck. It's like try your luck. I want to win something. It spins, and if you get it, try your luck. That's good. And if you get something awesome, then we will provide you with this reward.
So how do people get them? How do you deliver it to them, or they come to your office, pick it up or something?
No, so we basically, very few people that have won this reward in the past, we just chip it out to them. But another thing about reward that I would like to mention is that we don't give our rewards. We're not like a reward-based system where we give our rewards every now and then. No, we want you to come to Quizak and enjoy learning. One thing, in fact,
not because of the reward.
Not because of the reward. In fact, for us, we might be facing out the reward from Quizak as time goes on. Another way we are really transiting the reward-based system on Quizak is that if you host a game on Quizark, say you're a teacher and you want to host a game for your students, while hosting the game, you could attach rewards to the games. So when your students are playing it, maybe you said first position is going to get a water bottle, second position is going to get this, third position is going to get this. There could be different combinations of reward. You could say people that get more than 10 points will get this reward. So when they play the game, your student play the game, and anybody meets those criteria, they win those reward. So you as a host will configure the reward. It doesn't have to be host at Quizark.
Okay, so I can decide to say, okay.
Yeah, organization could have their rewards on Quizark. That's really the goal.
Okay. So earlier on you mentioned that you were recruiting, your company was recruiting. What positions? Give us those positions so that our listeners can benefit from it.
Okay, so currently we're recruiting for the role of a product manager. We're recruiting for the role of a business development, and we're recruiting for the role of a front-end React developer. So if you are knowledgeable in any of these, you can reach out to me. We can have a phone call.
Give out your email so that anyone listening and is interested in any of the roles can reach out to you.
Yeah, you can reach out to info@quizark.com if you're interested in any of this role and you want to join our amazing team at Quizark. We are remote guys. We work remotely, 100% remote to be honest. So you don't have a problem.
Okay, so where do you see Quizark in the next, say, 5 years?
Yeah, so we want to see Quizark in the hands of everybody. We want to see you when it's your birthday shout outs, create some personal games around yourself and be able to share it with people, and then they have fun around it using Quizark. We want to see different organizations, playing games using Quizark for corporates, for corporate staffs, for team bonding events, something like that, and for staff engagement and employee engagement and the likes. So we want to see Quizark in different, and for summits and events, we want to see Quizark there where you host an event and just to really get everybody together. You can create fun games around Quizark and the likes. Yes, we want to see Quizark across Africa and the world.
Okay, thank you so much, Tade, for coming on the show today, and well done with the work you do with Quizark Education, Quizark app. So well done, and big shout out to you and your team for a fantastic job.
Thank you so much, Comfort.
Right, so
really
we hope
appreciate
that the company grows beyond where it is right now. So thank you once again. And to our listeners at home, thank you to everyone who listened to the show today. Yes, we didn't get calls during the Sell Yourself segment. I wonder why, but we have a couple of recruiters listening. So I wanted to call in and tell yourself next week. Basically tell us the kind of job you're looking for and what is unique about you. And until I come your way again next week Wednesday, do have a beautiful rest of the day. Remember, the year is gradually coming to an end. Do have a beautiful day ahead. And from Comfort, I'm saying bye and have a great day.
You're hot, right?
Yes.
That was amazing, at least.
Thank you.
Thank you, Comfort. Really appreciate it.
Let's take pictures in the studio.